And here we are, DefSec 2022 podcast, presented by Cisco, and we are on day one of the trade show, and I can tell you, the floor is abuzz. Business is being done here. It's an exciting time to be in this sector in Canada right now. The National Ship Procurement Strategy is upon us. Canada is building ships. Technology is evolving. It's a true collaboration of government, industry, and academia. I got to tell you this, it's exciting to be in conversation with one of our shipyards. Tell us a little bit about yourselves, and then we'll get right into what it is that you do. Rich, why don't you go first?
You want me to go first? All right. Well, hello, I'm Rich Carvel, and I've just joined Heddle Shipyards on this past Monday, so I'm on day 3. Really excited to be here. I'm the new Vice President of Government Programs, so anything to do with the government programs, all the stuff you just mentioned in the National Shipbuilding Strategy will come under me. And the big team that I'm starting to learn a lot about at Heddle, and I'm really excited to be there and learn a lot more. In terms of me and my background and what I've come from, I'm a former naval officer, did a 35-year career, former Navy captain, former commanding officer of the Fleet Maintenance Facility, former naval attaché to the United States of America down at our Canadian Embassy in Washington, D.C. I've done a lot of waterfront work in terms of technical program management. I managed the Halifax class modernization program, and yeah, various other things, including a bit of a funny one, of all things, Y2K. So that goes way back. So that's me. I'm originally from Montreal, bilingual, grew up with a dad from Quebec and a mom from Nova Scotia, so pretty diverse. The funny story at home was both my parents were Air Force, that's how they met, and my brother and I both joined the Navy, so made for some interesting dinner conversations. So that's kind of me in a nutshell. I live here in Halifax, but I'll be working up in Hamilton and also working here in Halifax as it makes sense to in my new role as VP of Government Services.
Rich, they're lucky to get you. You're no stranger to this sector, and this sector is no stranger to you. You're a perfect hire for Heddle, other than those hideous cufflinks that you're wearing.
I wasn't going to bring that up.
Bring it up right there. That's terrible. A guy working in the Hammer and he shows up like that.
Yeah, the hiring process might have been different.
How about you?
Thank you so much for having me today. So Shaun Padulo, I'm the CEO of Heddle Shipyards, and just incredibly proud to be here and incredibly proud to be sitting beside Rich. We've got a great team at Heddle, and I think that Rich is going to become an anchor for that team. And as you mentioned earlier, Canada's got the National Shipbuilding Strategy fully underway right now. I'm extremely proud about the ships that are being built on the East Coast, on the West Coast, and soon to be in Ontario. And so Rich joining our team was sort of a segue into that. We're starting to get into new build programs, and we're starting to do really big VLEs, vessel life extensions.
Right.
And so with the team that we currently have, which is very diverse, we've got, some great up-and-coming engineers that are part of our senior executive. We've got a young lady from Buttons, Newfoundland, that's our chief cultural officer.
Okay.
Yeah, so I know there's the Newfoundland connection there. And now we have someone with Rich's pedigree, 35 years, serving our country and everything that he's done in private industry after that. So just incredibly proud to be here today.
Well, it sounds like you're forming a great team. And before we're going to circle back to the team in a moment, because I can sense from your words that you're very proud of them, and I want to talk more about it. But tell me a little bit about Heddle. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're in St. Catharines, Hamilton, and up in Thunder Bay, right?
That's correct.
Tell me a little bit about the yard and what your sweet spot is.
Certainly. So, great history in terms of the yards that we're currently operating. Thunder Bay was built in 1901 and built a lot of ships for the Royal Navy, for World War I and for World War II, which is pretty amazing. If you get up there, it's one of the prettiest shipyards, I think, in North America. And then in Port Weller, we've got 2 750-foot-long graving docks capable of dry docking any ship within the current fleet for the Navy, within the Coast Guard, except for the Louis. The Louis is a little bit wide to get up the seaway. But we might be able to fix that. Anyways, long story short, we've got those 3 graving docks between Thunder Bay and 2 in Port Weller, and then 3 floating dry docks in Hamilton.
Wow.
And so we offer a full gamut of services. We've got welders, electricians, millwrights, and we're really trying to offer turnkey, full-service solutions to Canada to help with the National Shipbuilding Strategy.
Sweet spot in terms of ship size, Rich, what would that look like?
Well, I think going forward, we're going to be looking at some of the smaller ships under 1,000 tons or in that range. I don't like to cap it at anything, but give or take that sort of range and smaller in terms of builds initially. I think it's a bit about finding the right niche, and my view, even though it's only day 3, is it's a niche for Heddle, but I think it's a niche that the government of Canada needs to be filled. And I think balancing that, in the national shipbuilding strategy and having an Ontario piece to that is extremely important. So it's kind of one of the many reasons I've decided to join Heddle, and I'm excited. There's opportunities there, I think, to build some ships that will really continue to serve Canada well. And the team I've seen so far, outstanding.
Yeah, I mean, Rich, you could have pointed your finger and gone anywhere, right? You chose Heddle, they chose you. It sounds like it's a great match for sure. But
we're married now.
but what's interesting is that you see how they can bring value here. And you've been around this industry a long time, so you know where they fit, which is just fantastic. And you're right, Ontario is kind of in the middle here, and I'm not sure if they've played in the game yet, right?
Yeah.
Now is the time.
That's what I think. I think it is the time. I think there's going to be, more and more need as we move forward with the larger capital ships that are being built.
Right.
Move from the AOPVs through the JSS, even on the Coast Guard side, Polar Icebreaker, the OFSVs are done,
right.
And are serving, and they're doing a great job. And then the OO is being built out to Vancouver, and so but now it's the next tranche of ships that needs to come. There's I still need to get more familiar with it, but I know that there's a large order book, especially on the Coast Guard side, but even on the Navy side. Eventually the MCDVs are getting a little bit older, Maritime Coastal Defense Vessels, so there's probably opportunities there eventually. So that's what's so great to me about the National Shipbuilding Strategy. It actually lays things out and starts giving not only a path, but multiple paths for multiple types of ships, and I think that Heddle can fill in those areas quite nicely. So that's
this is decades of work we're looking at here.
It is.
Decades of work. Many people will raise many families on this national ship procurement strategy in this country, and there's no reason Ontario should be left out of that. You're absolutely right. Graving docks and opportunities and ships are all one thing, but none of it matters unless you've got a great team behind you. We talked about that out of the gate. Let's circle back. Tell me a little bit about the team and how you build your team, because I know that diversity and things are very important to Heddle Shipyards. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Absolutely. I mean, I think the team starts with boots on the ground. We have some great tradespeople within the shipyard, and we're growing that team. And as we start winning more and more work, that team is growing. And one of the focuses we have right now is on non-traditional shipyard employees. And what I mean by that is, if you walk through the shipyards at the moment, we have a ton of female welders. And 5 years ago, you wouldn't have seen that. But we made a conscious effort to go out and start actively marketing towards different demographics and bringing them onto the team. And if you look at our senior executive, that's also reflected there. So, Rich and I will be working with Alicia Nash. She spent 8 years at Lloyd's. She's now our Director of Project Management and Engineering. Again, our Chief Cultural Officer, Madeline Hamilton. And if you look at the age, demographics within that team, we've got some seasoned vets, and we also have some young up-and-comers, right? So Jared Newcomb, who was at Davie and Irving before that, he's been in the industry for 35 years. Rick Heddle, who started this business, 35 years strong in the business. And so we've got some great veterans that can mentor and build out on this really young team that we're growing right now, which is great.
Yeah, sounds like all the pieces are coming together, and you're in the right place at the right time. What would your value proposition? What would you say to people that want to do business with Heddle? What is that? What is that one statement?
We have a ton of capacity in Ontario. We have the most populated province in the country, and we just want to help Canada. So there's a capacity issue right now within NSS, and the yards that we own and operate had 6,000 people at one point. And so today we have about 200 to 300 employees, depending on that time of year. You can see there's a huge gap. And so I think we can get back to a position where we're really helping Canada deliver ships because our sailors need them.
And deliver ships, maintained ships and new build ships, so open for all that kind of business, right? So yeah, absolutely. That's part of the offer here, I think.
Fantastic conversation, guys. Sounds like you're positioned well. I wish you much success here at the show and in the future. And I can tell you, the words that you're using, there's no doubt in my mind that you're going to have great success. You're in the right spot here, right? You're doing the right thing, and I think you summarize it best. You're trying to help Canada here. You're Canadian at heart, and you're trying to help this country build ships for the future. Wow, that's a recipe for success, guys. Thanks very much for coming on the podcast. An absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us on. I appreciate that.